dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me.
We had an amazing finish last season right here at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Raceway. We now kick off the next season of the Circle B Diecast Superspeedway Series, brought to you by the iRacing East crew. Tony Trapasso up at the booth with you tonight for this one here. Thank you so much for making Sim Racing Media part of your evening, as Hot Lap session's going on right now, and pretty decent turnout for the season opener. I'm seeing 22 cars in the infield right now. A couple drivers making some returns to the series, some making their overall debut period. As my buttons will work here, let's take a quick look at the practice times, as Chris Worrell leading the pack right now. Austin Collins making his debut of the series. James Lowe coming back. Ed DeBoer is back. Michael Anthony, Joe Gautier. Two-time defending champion Marcus Adams, currently sitting in 7th. Chief cook and bottle washer of the iRacing East Series is Jason Papp. He's currently slotted in 8th. Brandon Wilson, Greg McConey, Shane Posey, Nick Wing is back. Dusty Burkhart is back. Ryan Harrison making his debut with the series. Tim Henderson, Brad Mashburn, Frank Marchese is back. Connor Trifari is back. Matt Swope making his debut, as is Mike McCray. So, just waiting on a couple of these guys to lay down some times here in the qualifying session. Want to thank everybody for joining us in the live chats right now. Thank you so much for making us a part of your evening. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications, because we've got racing 7 nights a week here on Sim Racing Media. And just a matter of fact, coming up this coming Saturday is going to be the AI series from Hickory. That's an 8 p.m. debut for that one, the penultimate race in the Sim Racing Media AI Super Late Model Series. Sunday brings us ISNF from Daytona. That'll be a 4:45 Eastern Time start. And I actually believe we've got another ISNF race there. That's the ISNF Cup Series at 4:45. I believe we've also got their Xfinity Series. That's going to be at about 1:20 Eastern Time. And then, of course, the nightcap Sunday night is going to be Sunday Night NASCAR from right here in Daytona. So if you like Daytona racing, we got a ton of it for you this week, folks. As the hot lap session coming to a close right now, getting ready to turn them loose for qualifying. Give me 1 second, folks. I need to bring that up. As who's going to be the first one to actually roll it? Looks like Connor Trifari making his return here. There he is. In that Clan 9 Brewing number 20, or Lot 9 Brewing, number 29. Connor unfortunately didn't make too many races last season, did not make enough to be able to still reserve his number. Rocking a Ford Mustang this season. There is Mike McCrate in his 73 Camaro. Ryan Harrison making his debut in the DeWalt Tools number 4. Cujo himself, Joe Gautier in the Pit Boss 23 is back. James Lowe, of course, driving the number 99 as always. And a familiar face in the 31. Balls Garana Green this year. Ginger, I'm sorry. But your two-time defending series champion, Marcus Adams. And I'll tell you right now, folks, he has earned both championships. Fought tooth and nail to get both those rides pointed in the right direction. Was able to make it happen. My normal broadcast partner, Frank Marchese, out there in the Hardee's Deuce. Michael Anthony in the 8 out there as well. Dusty Burkhart in the 69. Rocking the Tennessee Vols on that car again this season. And it looks like Trifari's going to set the first time. Down onto the apron, through the tri-oval. 50.61. And it's going to be one and done for these guys. Ryan Harrison going to bring it home 5th quick. Tim Henderson in the 91. Cole trickled himself. Ed DeBoer out on track right now, coming through 3 and 4. Single lap qualifying here in the Circle B Diecast Superspeedway Series. DeBoer going to come across second quick. Connor Trifari still sitting atop the pile. Frank Marchese slots into 7th quick. Chris Worrell out on track right now as well. There we see him in that familiar Balls Garana number 6 Toyota Supra. Dusty Burkhart jumping up to third quick. Michael Anthony sits 5th. Michael Swope in his debut currently sits 6th quick. There's Marchese still just puttering around. Greg McConey out on track right now as Worrell crosses for his first flyer, 6th quick. McConey out on track right now, the only one that is currently up to speed. Oh, here we go again. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen, as the scroll across the top of the screen, not working for Worth right now. I'm still waiting on a handful of drivers to start rolling it, as McConey going to slot in 6th quick. Brandon Wilson, Shane Posey, Austin Collins, John LeBombard, Jason Papp, and Brad Mashburn all have not tried to lay a time down yet. You see the beautiful shot here under the lights at Daytona. Let us know who you're rooting for this evening. We'll try to make your driver appear on screen, as we are running quickly out of time here. And, of course, I've got to restart that. Bear with me, folks, as live timing and scoring is not playing kindly right now. Come on. Dirty round scoundrel. And that is going to do it for qualifying right there. Again, Connor Trafari in his return sets quick time this evening. As we are now into the warm-up session, a couple things that have changed this season. We are recognizing the Geico restart zones at all the tracks we're going to go to that have such a zone. For those of you unfamiliar, pace car is going to peel off at its normal place. The leader has to maintain the pace speed within 2 miles an hour until they get into the Geico restart zone, at which point they can pull the trigger anytime during that zone. If they pass through the zone and have not yet pulled the trigger, the green flag's coming out regardless, and they're fair game for the other lane to get the jump on them. 75% fuel fill tonight. Let me just take a quick look at what we are looking at for scheduling this year. Tonight we are going to be, of course, at Daytona in the Xfinity car. Next week we go to Talladega in the next-gen car for 80 laps. Then we go to Talladega again in the ARCA car. And then it gets fun, folks. For the first time in quite a while, we are returning to the iRacing Superspeedway in the Xfinity car. We will have an off week at the end of near the end of September for week 13. And then on September 30th, we will be back here at Daytona in the trucks during the day. And are you sitting down, folks? Because something I've been begging for a couple of seasons now. We are going to be returning to Daytona for 70 laps using the Indy Cars. Yes, you heard me correctly. We are going to be using the Indy Cars here at Daytona. That is going to be on October 7th. You're not going to want to miss that one. Then we go Talladega in the next-gen car. Then we have the All-Star race where there's no points. We have yet to determine what track and car combination that is going to be. And then we'll be back here for Halloween weekend in the 87 cars, so the Classic Cup cars. and everybody's going to have a candy scheme, or at least some form of Halloween spookiness going on. And then we'll be back here the following week at night in the Xfinity cars. Talladega in the trucks, Next Gens at Talladega following that. Off week for Thanksgiving. And then it gets fun. Talladega in the Xfinity car, Daytona in the trucks. That is the 2nd and 9th of December. And then on my birthday, we're going to be at Daytona in, I'm hoping, the Indy Cars again. Christmas and holiday schemes requested. Taking 2 weeks off for Christmas and New Year's. And then we'll return on the 6th of January at Talladega in the trucks. That is round 1 of the playoffs, by the way. So first round of the playoffs has the possibility of being the Indy Cars at Daytona, depending on how the regular season race in the Indy Cars go. So, a lot of action yet here to come this season, as here we see some guys getting a couple laps in during the warm-up session. About a minute left, so if you got to use a little driver's room, I would suggest doing so now. Again, thank you all so much for making us a part of your evening. Miss Vicky, good to have you with us as always. And if you folks haven't done so already, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, because the more thumbs up a video gets, the more likely it is to be shared on someone's YouTube homepage when they log in and like, hey, you might enjoy seeing this. A number of people enjoyed it already. Let's see what you think. So the more thumbs up we get, the more likely it is to get shared in that sort of fashion. As the warm-up session and getting ready to wind on down, and there it goes. And poof. As we are going to take a quick look at the weather for tonight. 75 degree air temperature and track temperature. 60% relative humidity. 8-mile-an-hour winds out of the southwest. That's going to hurt. It's going to be a tailwind going into turn 3. So that's something these drivers are really going to have to be mindful of, especially with the bump draft. As we are going to take a look at our starting grid. Connor Trafari set in quick time with a 50.608. 21 thousandths to the good over Ed DeBoer in the 24. Dusty Burkhart and James Lowe going to roll it off in row number 2. Row 3 sees Michael Anthony and Greg McConey. Chris Worrell and Nick Wing going to roll it off in row number 4. With row 5 going to 2 debutantes in the series, Matt Swope and Mike McCrate. Joe Gautier and Marcus Adams, your defending series champion, going to roll it off in row number 6. Row 7 is going to go see Frank Marchese and Ryan Harrison in his debut here in the Circle B Geico Superspeedway Series. Tim Henderson and Austin Collins, both of those guys making their debuts here in row number 8. Brandon Wilson and Shane Posey in row number 9. Jason Papp and John LeBombard in row 10, and Brad Mashburn starting shotgun on the field in 21st. So from Austin Collins down to Brad Mashburn, those drivers were slotted into place after not laying time in qualifying via their iRating. As the field rolling behind the Ford Mustang GT500 pace car, the official pace car of iRacing, the Ford Mustang of Connor Trafari is on pole, making his return to the league. Ed DeBoer in a new paint scheme tonight, kind of digging the Mobile 124 on that. Dusty Burkhart is back in the 69 Tennessee Vols Chevy Camaro. Digging it. Really digging it. Field working its way into turn number 3. This is going to be Calamity Corner tonight if we're going to see one, because you get such a push down that back straightaway that these guys are going to be hauling it off into turn number 3 somewhere around 190 miles an hour, especially in the draft. Well, folks, you know what time it is. For the first time this season, it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some popcorn because it's time to get it on in Daytona. Race fans, it's showtime! Trafari wastes no time. As soon as he hit that Geico restart zone, he was on the loud pedal. Dusty Burkhart already up into second. Michael Anthony giving him a good shove as they haul it off into turn number 1. Second lane trying to get organized up there as that is DeBoer and Lowe working the top side. As now Anthony jumps up and Trafari bails out. Defending series champion Marcus Adams also bailing out. Did not want to be in the middle of that pack as now it's Anthony and Burkhart drag race into turn number 3. Worrell in the 6th pushing on Burkhart. The 82 Matt Swope up into 4th. Greg McConey right behind him. Top lane with a run coming into. Give it to Worrell on lap 1. Good group of cars there. Trafari has really fallen off. Second group starting to form up. Throw a blanket over your top 16 though. As Jason Papp is the caboose in that little freight train there. Trafari, Adams, and Henderson have all dropped to the tail. Papp trying to make a run on the top shelf. As right now Anthony shows the way on the outside lane. His teammate Chris Worrell in the 6 on the low side. Burkhart pushing on Worrell right now. As DeBoer trying to give Anthony a shove. Anthony with the nose out front coming into the tri-oval. Give him the lap at the line. All important bonus point. So that is 2 Balls Garana cars that have already garnered those all important bonus points. As Anthony drops down in front of Worrell. Those 2 Supras locked up and Worrell looks like he might be having connection issues. We're going to check in with one of our rookies, Matt Swope. We're going to have to ask him at some point where Mount Orab is. If you know where it is, let me know because I'm ignorant on that fact. Sharp looking car there though. As that is Ryan Harrison directly behind him. Out of Elizabeth City, North Carolina, in the DeWalt Tools number 4. Mike McCray, the lone Canadian in the field tonight. As Ed DeBoer, the Cadillac Michigan Pied Piper, led that last time by. Here comes James Lowe on the top shelf, getting a good shove right now from the 90 of Nick Wing. There you see Lowe on the top side in the 99. He's got Wing and Shane Posey right behind him there. Top lane has a lot of experience right now as you got James Lowe, Nick Wing, Shane Posey, Jason Papp, and Frank Marchese up there on the top side. There is the Hardee's Deuce of Marchese. And fun fact about Frank, when he's not driving in iRacing, he's actually one of the in-studio producers for Padres baseball. So go Pods. Here's Ed DeBoer, your current race leader, trying to get it sorted out up at the front of this piece. As Michael Anthony is bailed out, Chris Worrell up there as well. James Lowe trying to get a shove down. Oi! 22 thousandths of a second, and I forgot to turn ticker on. I apologize, folks. As DeBoer continues to show the way in that Mobil 1 Chevy Camaro. The Camaro, James Lowe on the top shelf. Both of them getting good shoves right now. They're probably 2 of the safest hands they could be in the form of Chris Worrell and Nick Wing. Wing on the top shelf, Worrell on the low side. Both of those second rows as Lowe with a nose out front coming off of 4. Wing giving him a good shot coming into the tri-oval. DeBoer with a head of steam. Give the lap to Wing by 2 1/1000ths of a second. Good grief. All important bonus point for James Lowe there. And so seeing some guys try to play the draft right now. McConey trying to work his way back up, trying to pull along the draft to see what he's got to do. Michael Anthony right in front of him is the 29 of Austin Collins in his debut. Luttrell, Tennessee native, running for the United States Postal Service tonight. Defending series champion Marcus Adams right back there in 18. He's being followed by Tim Henderson as his debut. Tim Henderson out of Syracuse. All right. Go Cuse. And then we got a little bit of a distance back to John LeBombard in the 95 as he makes his return to the league. And Brad Mashburn is, well, his painter's fired. He's supposed to be in the 07, but unfortunately he wadded both of those primary and backup cars and had to go to a Childress backup car that they have rented for this race. Meanwhile, up in front, James Lowe shows the way on the Lowe side as he's got Ed DeBoer right on him. Chris Worrell is going to need some help from Nick Wing. So Toyota on Toyota action on the top shelf. There's 3 Toyotas lining up to try to freight train that top line through. James Lowe looking to punch his ticket into the playoffs right here at Daytona. And after the last season that he had, you can't help but root for James Lowe. Family tragedies abound, and was able to make last season's playoffs in a tribute race to his dad. And it's good to see James back out on track, back up to 100%. As Worrell trying to get the push from Nick Wing on the low shelf. Does have the nose out front, hauling off into turn number 1. Your 2 biggest movers right now, though, are sitting nose to tail in that second, the high line. Shane Posey plus 12, Jason Papp plus 12. Lowe getting a good shove from DeBoer again. 75% fuel fill. We're probably looking around laps 17 to 20 before these guys are going to have to bring them down for some go fast and some tires. You better make sure you got it figured out who's going with you. About halfway through this first fuel run. Worrell with the nose out front. Lowe on the low side leads that group. As all 21 cars are still on the lead lap. Now you've got a little bit of a gap from...
Yellow flag is out.
Oh boy. Oh my. Oh my. Let's go back and take a look at that one. Looks like a bump track. Oh my goodness. Here they are hauling it off into turn number 3. Little bit of looseness. Boy, somebody caught the apron and I didn't quite see who it was. Let's try that one again. Looks like DeBoer went up in the middle of the corner, missed the turn. The 82 got turned. Posey chases it up the track, tries to cut back down in front of Papp. Unfortunately, Papp was there as the 69 of Burkhart just went headlong into the outside retaining wall. Well, there it is, folks. Our first, thank God this is a simulator moment of the night. You see all hell breaking loose there. Now for the good news. These guys do have one fast repair in their pocket. Oi. 23 almost went up and over. Who the hell's in the 23? Okay. As we're seeing just about wholesale pit stops right now as we go back live. Nick Wing, the only one that decides to stay out. Just drove down pit road, did not get any service done. James Lowe, fuel only. Brandon Wilson, Greg McConey, and everybody back from there, all coming down to get 4 new tires and a fresh tank of go fast. Now, we've seen Nick Wing do this before, where he'll stay out and then come down on the second time down pit road to drop to the tail end, only because he'd rather be the chaser than the chasee, because you're less likely to get run over from behind. And I'm sure that Shane Posey can attest to that statement. So I would expect Wing to peel off here and get his service done. And like clockwork. So that is going to hand the lead of the race over to the man in the 99. That is James Lowe. Brandon Wilson winning the battle off pit road of those that took 4 in fuel. Currently going to restart on the outside of row 1. 2 biggest movers to speak of so far. 3 biggest movers. Brandon Wilson plus 15, going to restart in second as the lights have gone out on the Ford Mustang GT500 pace car, the official pace car of iRacing. Jason Papp, currently restarting in 4th, is plus 15, as is the 95 with John LeBombard. Both those guys plus 15. Unfortunately for Ed DeBoer, after getting caught up in that, Dusty Burkhart as well. Burkhart is your biggest mover in the wrong direction, as I don't think he had his fast repair checked. No, he probably did. It was Shane Posey that didn't burn the fast repair quite yet. Here we are back at the front of the field as we are getting ready to turn them back loose. Going to restart on lap 15 of 95. Again, thank you so much for making this part of your Friday evening. This is Tony Chapasso up in the booth for Sim Racing Media. You're watching the Circle B Diecast Superspeedway Series round number 1 here at Daytona under the lights. Miss Vicky saying that she thinks it's in Ohio. I think you're probably right. I would assume as much anyways, but like my little league used to say, well, I'll tell you later, but pace car is in. Lowe has the button, brings him into the Geico restart zone, jumps on the loud pedal. McConey goes with him. Wilson not getting the getaway he wanted. Jason Papp up in 4th already. Definitely burned his fast repairs. That car was garbage when the caution came out. Brandon Wilson on the top shelf. We're riding on board with the 501 right now. You see he's getting a good run coming down the hill out of turn number 2. Down the back straightaway. Jason Papp pushing the daylights out of him right now. Chris Worrell making some jockeyed moves, trying to get up towards the front. As Wilson has the clear, but he's not abandoning Papp. And if he's not careful, that's going to let Lowe get back to him. Papp's got to get back to that rear bumper and push Wilson if they want to get a lap led. Drag race to the line. Wow. 6/1000ths of a second that time. With the advantage going too low on the low side. Wilson now with the nose out in front by a full car length. Pap's at the door. Wilson drops down to throw the block on low. We are still back on board with him. We're going to go on board with Jason Pap now. And that's what the passenger seat of Jason Pap's car looks like, folks. As Wilson going to come across the stripe here. Wilson now leads a lap. All-important bonus point for the 501. Connor Trafari pushing the daylights out of Jason Pap. Pap trying to work that high side right now. They're going to need more help. Plain and simple, they're going to need more help. Wilson jumps up to try to pull Pap along. Gives Pap the toe down the back straightaway here. As the 73 of Mike McCray. And they're 3 wide. Chris Worrell on the top shelf. Drops down in front of Connor Trafari. Trafari drops down in front of Michael Anthony. Low with the nose out front. Give the lap to Low. Working lap 18 of 95, and you got to wonder. And from what I'm seeing, tires aren't going to make that much of a difference here tonight. As James Lowe took fuel only, as did Ed DeBoer and Tim Henderson. Joe Gautier and Marcus Adams all taking fuel only. At least on the last pit time they were down pit road. Nick Wing hanging in there. Wilson shot out of a cannon out of turn number 4. 3 cars, and it's what we've heard time and time again. 3 cars are faster. If you can get 3 cars that know how to work together, and whatever you do, don't push the pusher. Because if Pap was on the back bumper of Wilson, Wilson bails out. Pap goes to the low side. Getting a good shove from Chris Worrell. Wilson doing what he had to do. He got the bonus point for leading the lap. Now bails out, drops to the tail end of that line, as he did not want to be stuck in the middle with you. And the problem is, as the air comes over that first car, that punches the hole in the air. The second car, if it's just 2 cars, that second car, the air is getting put down on the rear spoiler. If a third car comes and pushes that second car, there is no air getting to that middle car, and snaps you by your eating wall, whether you want to or not. Pap pinches down, coming through 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway they come. Inch perfect with McConey right now on the bottom line. Getting a shove from Chris Worrell. That is the 73 of Mike McCray, holding a steady line on the low side, as he's got Connor Trafari all over his back bumper. James Lowe continues to show the way. Jason Pap with a good run now. Pap with the nose out front. Give the lap to Pap by half a fender. Jason Pap, James Lowe, Chris Worrell, Greg McConey, Ed DeBoer, your top 5 as they currently sit. Mike McCray in his debut with the league, sitting in 6th on the low side. There he is in the orange and blue, number 73. Drag race down the back straightaway, as that's McConey pushing Lowe, Worrell pushing Pap. And they are fast approaching. It looks like Matt Swope. Yep. Unfortunately, Swope lost the draft. He is now going to go at least 1 lap down. and just like you're supposed to in this league, goes up to the high side until he can merge back in and gather speed again. Gets right back into the mix, right in front of Brandon Wilson. Wilson looks like he's going 3 wide here. Not by choice either. Oh no. What the hell? Oi! Thank goodness for netcode. Let's back that up a little bit here. Okay. Let's try this again. Sorry, folks. I got to let you look behind the curtain here for a second. That would be why it didn't pick up the crash, because Posey's having connection issues. Goes... oh, my... And if you're John LeBombard, you just had a hand of God moment. As a good thing Posey was having connection issues. So that did not register on LeBombard because he was right in the sights. But the 23, unfortunately, going for one hellacious ride. As we go back live now. Wholesale pit stops. Swope getting the wave around to get his lap back. It's Nick Wing doing what we'd expect out of him. Here comes the 73. Give the battle off pit road to the 73 now. It's Mike McCrate. McCrate fuel only. James Lowe, Tim Henderson, Jason Papp running out your top 5 with Nick Wing just driving down pit road, and he's going to service that car here in the next couple of laps, or the next lap, I should say. There is Wing in the Michael Waltrip tribute. Again, thank you so much for making us a part of your evening, ladies and gentlemen. Stone Trapasso up in the booth with you for Sim Racing Media. No, it's not a new station. We just had a name change. It's still the same great quality of broadcast you've come to expect out of Sim Racing Media and our family of team members. I must say that I am very proud to be working with the crew that I'm working with. I would happily put them up against any broadcasting entity for iRacing right now, and I dare say that we've got some of the best announced staff in the game. Is Mike McCrae gonna get handed the lead? As I see a couple of guys coming down to top off, hopefully getting a long green flag run here. All 21 cars still on the lead lap right now. Swope and McCasey trying to hustle them to get back around. There is Swope, and there is McCasey behind him. And I'm wondering why McCasey hasn't burned his fast repair yet. Let's see, coming down the super stretch here on the back chute at Daytona. So, McCrae, Papp, Trafari, DeBoer, Harrison, Wilson, Mashburn, Lowe, Worrell, and Gautier rounding out your top 10. as the lights are out on that Ford Mustang GT 500 pace car, the official pace car of iRacing. Getting ready to turn them loose to start lap 26 of 95. There they are coming through the 3-4 complex right now. And a whole slew of cars on that bottom shelf. Need to tighten it up just a little bit. Pace car is in. McCrate pulls the trigger. Trafari goes with him. Pap caught asleep at the switch on the bottom side. DeBoer stays with Pap for right now. Ryan Harrison kind of caught in no man's land. No help in front, no help behind. And now Trafari looks to the inside as the 73 went up to the top side to try to pull Pap along. Pap threw him a dummy and went to the low side. Oh, muscling your way in there. McCrate right in front of Harrison. The two debutantes here in the Circle B Diecast Superspeedway Series trying to make it happen right now as they've got two of the most experienced drivers in this series in front right now and starting to pull a gap. Harrison has got to get up there. Gets the tow going through 3 and 4. DeBoer going to jump down in front of Brandon Wilson in there in the 501. Harrison has the clear. McCrate caught on the top shelf, not getting a lot of help right now from James Lowe. Connor Trafari is currently showing the way. Jason Papp right on him. Then you got the two debutantes, Harrison and McCray. Wilson, second car in the top line. Worrell up there as well. DeBoer on the bottom shelf. And Tim Henderson in the blank slate 91. Let's see if we can't get some Q's colors on that car for next week. As McCrate did get a run coming off of 4. Trafari got a better push from Jason Papp on the low side. Still side by side, about 4 deep here. Everybody else getting kind of single filed out on that low side. And it's Trafari bailing out. McCray was thinking about coming down. Oh, that was a lazy block there. Got to be careful of that, 'cause that's how you get turned in this series. Catches the apron going into 3. Almost got up into James Lowe. Everybody keeps pointed in the right direction for now. Coming out of turn number 4, drag race. Lowe with the horsepower. He's got his teammate Chris Worrell on the top side. Worrell and Lowe both getting the clear right now as Tim Henderson following them through. Mike McCray not getting a ton of help from Jason Papp as Lowe drops down to pick him up. It's going to leave Henderson in the 91 to work with Worrell. Worrell trying to side draft right now. And that's putting a lot of faith in netcode, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody holding a pretty decent line right now. Lowe, Worrell, McCrate, Henderson, Papp, DeBoer. Your top 6. Ryan Harrison and Connor Trafari going door to door for 7th and 8th. Then you got Brandon Wilson and Joe Gautier rounding out your top 10 as they currently sit. You'll see the battle box in your lower right-hand corner. Good grief. Tim Henderson currently the second car on the outside lane, sitting in 4th, plus 11. Jason Papp, plus 14, currently being slotted in 6th. Here comes DeBoer on the top side with Trafari for some help. Lowe and Worrell, the two balls-out teammates, running side by side right now as McCrate giving a good shove. Wow, Connor Trafari just made a 3-lane change. Lowe currently with no pressure from the outside. Worrell trying to make something happen. Tim Henderson not quite giving him the same aggressive push. And I don't blame him. I'm not that comfortable as a pusher myself. I'm always terrified I'm going to turn whoever's in front of me. On board with Worrell right now. There you see Pap jump up to try to pick him up. And you see the horsepower, or the RPMs immediately jump up in that Supra. Now that Pap is punching the hole in the air, Worrell slots in behind him and just shoves the daylights out of him, shoves him right up there to the front. Pap gets in front of Lowe and drops down. Do need to thank Jason Papp and Greg McConey for putting up tonight's race. They are the reason that you're able to watch this here on Sim Racing Media. If you would like to get involved in this league, you can reach out to that man in the one, Jason Papp, who's currently leading the top shelf. You can find him on his Facebook page and say, hey, Jason, I'd like to sponsor a race. I'd like to sponsor the Restart Zone. I want to sponsor the whole series for the season. If you've got a small business, we would love to have you. Again, just reach out to Jason Papp. That's Jason P-A-P-P on Facebook, and we can get you pointed in the right direction. As well, we got a little lull in the action here. We are going to step away, pay a couple breaks, or pay a couple, you know what I mean. We'll be back.
Drivers that took time, all of them within 3.5 tenths of each other tonight is going to be a very closely
And we are back at Daytona. Thank you so much for making us a part of your evening. Tony Chapasso here, up in the booth for Sim Racing Media here at the Circle B Diecast Superspeedway Series, round number 1. Season opener here at Daytona in the Xfinity cars. Jason Papp and James Lowe carved out a pretty decent lead for themselves, as it looks like a lot of the field starting to at least get kind of paired up, as we're going to take a look from high above. You see Connor Trafari working with the debutant Mike McRae, as Chris Worrell, McRae, another coat of paint, McRae would have been in trouble. as he jumped up right in front of the 6 of Worrell. Worrell's skilled enough and wise enough to know when to lift out of it. Looking to make a third lane, thinking about it, trying to get some clean air to that radiator of that Toyota Supra, as he is now sucked right up to the back bumper of McRae. Meanwhile, Jason Papp continues to be the Pied Piper here at Daytona. And you can find our Twitter handle there in the live chat. Keep abreast of all the updates here on Sim Racing Media. Again, we have races coming up 7 nights a week, as we are so glad to have the Circle B Diecast Superspeedway Series back in the family of broadcasts. Let's take a look at what we do have coming up. And that starts tomorrow with the Sim Racing Media Super Late Model AI Series. Yes, you heard me correctly, AI. All artificial intelligence, no real-world drivers on the track in the sim. It's all computer-controlled, and they have shown some amazing races so far this season. We go to the penultimate round at Hickory. You're not going to want to miss that one. It was an awesome race. As Sunday, we've got the triple header, the 2 ISNF races, the Xfinity Series and the Cup race from here at Daytona. And then the nightcap, SNN, is going to make its return to Daytona at 8:20 Eastern Time. Meanwhile, Jason Papp continues to show the way. It's now the 91 of Tim Henderson. Has probably one of the safest hands behind him that he could possibly hope for. That is that Boilermaker number 12 of Greg McConey. And I can pretty much tell you where McConey is going to be every Saturday afternoon for the next 14 weeks. And it's going to be glued to his television set as his Boilermakers make a bid for the NC2A National Championship. As right now, Henderson currently running in second. McConey backs off to not push him through the corners, because that's the last thing you want to do. Working lap 41 of 95. We are fast approaching when we should be seeing green flag pit stops. We're thinking somewhere between 19 and 20 laps. And most of these guys, the last time they were down was lap 23. However, they have not gotten single filed out yet. And that's usually the tattletale that green flag pit stops are about to happen. Papp, Lowe, Henderson, McCrate, McConey, Worrell, McCasey back up into the top 10. Brandon Wilson, Matt Swope, and Joe Gautier rounding out the top 10 as they currently sit. And that is a very wounded Brad Mashburn dropping down to the apron to get down and out of the way. Just does not want to be a part of this one, as he knows he's about to get freight trained. Backs out of it, gives the front group a good run. It's Papp and Lowe didn't even lift off the trigger there. McConey breaks off to not get into Tim Henderson in the corner. He's got his teammate Brandon Wilson right behind him. There's that exalted Chevy Camaro of Wilson. But the Accelerate 1 of Jason Papp continues to show the way here at Daytona, working lap 43 of 95. Not quite to the halfway mark yet, but we are fast approaching. Syracuse native Tim Henderson, go orange, leading the Boilermaker number 12. Good hoops rivalry between those two schools. Of course, you know where my loyalties lie, and that is, of course, with my Syracuse orange. We're definitely going to have to get Henderson a paint scheme for next week, though, folks. Matter of fact, I can't think of anybody better to do it than the guy that's right behind him in that Boilermaker number 12. That is Greg McConey, Chief Cook and Bottle Washer for Midwest Motor Customs. For all your iRacing paint needs, you need to look no further than to that man, Greg McConey. You can find him on his Facebook page and reach out to him there. As now Brandon Wilson makes another bid for the lead. He's got Nick Wing with him, and they've got James Lowe in tow. Getting ready to put lap 44 in the books. The Dodgers Arkansas hometown hero in Brandon Wilson leading that outside line right now. As Wilson gets a little bit better of a push from McConey. We're now on board with Henderson. And McConey has bailed. McConey now shows the way as he was able to jump up in front of Wilson. Now drops down, looking to get that all-important bonus point. The only problem is Wilson has Wing on his back bumper. McConey, unfortunately, does not. And just as I say that, he gets just enough off of Tim Henderson. And you'll hear drivers say all the time that there's two ways to push. You can either slam draft, where you actually hit the car in front of you, bumper to bumper, or you can do what they call push the bubble. There's an aero bubble around these cars, and sometimes it's faster to just push the bubble. Oy, Nick Wing, don't do it. McConey and everybody heads up on the low side, able to back out of it to give Wing the room because he was coming whether they wanted him to or not. James Lowe now caught up on the top shelf. Come on. My mouse will ever work right. Owasso, Michigan's own Nick Wing driving that Napa Tools number 90 Toyota Camry. No, I'm sorry, these are Supras. So he's doing Cup broadcasts. I apologize, folks. Now Wing gets the shove from McConey. Throw a blanket over your top 19. As only two cars not in this lead group. Brad Mashburn, who's already one lap down. Ryan Harrison in the 4, not the night he was hoping for. As he's lost the draft and he's mired back in 20th. About a half a lap away from going a lap down to your race leader. Again, we are on board with Wing here. As Wing jumps up, throws the block on Lowe. The only problem is Lowe is getting a hell of a push off Worrell in the 6. 73 Mike McRae has to tighten it up just a little bit to get that outside lane to really get the momentum that it needs. Although Lowe does have the nose out front coming into the tri-oval. Give the lap to Lowe by half a car. Lowe, Worrell, Wing, McRae, McConey, Henderson, Pap, McCasey, Swope, and Gautier rounding out your top 10. As with only 3 cars now on that top side, the fact that these guys are getting pretty single filed out tells me one thing, is that we are fast approaching green flag pit stops. Again, the last time anyone who was down pit road was up 23 or 24. That was a big moment for the 73, almost getting into the door of McConey. Wing continues to show the way on the low side. just past the halfway mark here at Daytona. McConey gives Worrell an opening to get down. McRae no hole yet as he is stuck on that top side. Lowe and Worrell almost a full car length to the clear. McConey gives... Oy! That could have ended poorly. Worrell trying to get some clean air to the radiator of that Balls Garana number 6. Almost got into wing. Give that lap to wing by 2/1000ths of a second. As Lowe continues to show the way on the low side. Wing, Worrell, and McRae on the top shelf. And again, I got to think we're getting damn close to green flag pit stops. The last time these guys were down pit road was over 25 laps ago. And with 75% fuel fill, 20 to 25 is about all you can expect out of a tank of Go Fast here at Daytona tonight. Especially if you're out in front being used as what they call a fuel pig. You're punching the hole in the air, which means you're using every piece of the accelerator, whereas the guys behind you can back off to maybe 80%, save a little bit of fuel. But you're definitely going to want to have friends when it does come time to that green flag pit stop, because you don't want to go down pit road alone. You will be basically ending your race if you have to go it alone. Nick Wing, Chris Worrell, James Lowe, Mike McCrate, Greg McConey, Tim Henderson, Jason Papp, Frank McCasey, Matt Swope, and Joe Gautier rounding out your top 10 as they currently sit. As the only two cars on the top shelf right now are the 6 of Worrell and the 73 of McCrate, as they are fast approaching that DeWalt Tools number 4 of Ryan Harrison. And he's doing the right thing, getting up and out of the way. Which is exactly what they ask you to do in this league, especially in the corners. Get up and out of the way and try not to kill yourself in the process. And Harrison read the rule book. Congratulations, sir. You just passed the test. Oh, no.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
Oh, yeah. Let's go back and take a look at what did happen to McCrate here. There he is on the top shelf. Oh, bang. Brandon Wilson getting nerfed. And this is what Ed DeBoer just saw. You want to talk about wreck avoidance skill? Let's watch that again. Here we are on board with DeBoer. Kind of deep in this pack here. There they are passing the lap car. Of Harrison, and it's gonna pop off right about now. There it goes. He's immediately off the throttle, on the brake, steering the car. Wreck avoidance goes back down the track. Golf clap for Ed DeBoer. Awesome job of doing wreck avoidance, sir. You have my attention. So, wholesale pit stops for most of the field. Jason Papp elects to stay out. Why, I'm not quite sure, but that car is heavily wounded. And he's going to have to come pit sometime. I'm not exactly sure when he plans on doing that, but probably now as the engine just hand grenaded in the one of Papp. Looks like Chris Worrell going to be the nice guy and drop in behind Papp to give him a push. Yes, he is. No, he's not. I don't know. That's a rough one. That is an absolute rough one. Hate to see that, especially for a guy like Jason Papp who puts so much into this league. As he's trying to coast it back to pit road now, we are going to reach out to the head man in charge here in the Circle B Diecast Superspeedway Series presented by the iRacing East Esports League. And Jason, what happened?
I got caught up in that wreck there. I had a meatball right away, so I was just out trying to lead another lap or two, and then pull it in, but it overheated and blew up. So I am officially finished for the evening.
Well, Jason, I know that the league is looking for sponsors coming up. Facebook would be probably the best way to reach you.
Absolutely. Definitely our Facebook page. We did just start a YouTube page. Greg started that. And so we got a lot of good things going on. We're going to start working on the Instagram and a few other things to try to get ourselves out there, gain some more sponsorship.
Absolutely. But Jason, again, sorry to see your race end that way, sir. Best of luck to you in the remainder of the season, though. And by the way, might I commend you, sir, for having the guts to bring the Indy Cars to this series finally. I applaud you, sir.
Yeah, it's going to be, it's definitely going to be different. I'm looking forward to it.
The biggest thing I can, the biggest advice I can give you with those Indy Cars is look for the antennas on the nose of your car and aim directly for the tail light at the bottom of the wing on the back of those cars. And yes, sir, you can bump draft in Indy Cars.
Huh. Yeah, we'll have to check that out. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Jason, we're going to let you get back to it here. I'm assuming you're going to be up in race control from now on then?
Green flag, green flag.
I'm probably going to call it a night. I've got to work at 6:30 in the morning.
All right, Jason. Again, sorry to see your round one end this way, but I'm sure we're going to be talking to you in victory lane here before the season's out.
Hopefully.
As the green flag comes back out, James Lowe immediately jumps to the lead. Matt Swope making a good run on the low side. McConey trying to get some clean air to the radiator of that Ford Mustang. As he's got Connor Trafari, as we're on board with Tim Henderson right now in the 91, making his debut here in the league. Currently sitting +9. As he's getting up and out of the way as Posey and Worrell go 3 wide. Wow. There is your race leader, James Lowe, as he's got the 82 of Matt Swope. Greg McConey trying to make something happen on the top shelf with Ed DeBoer. And they have your defending series champion, 2-time defending series champion, Marcus Adams there in the Balls Guarana Ginger. Chris Worrell made it 3 wide and just went, yeah, you know what, I'm tired of sitting back here. Worrell makes it 3 wide going down the back straightaway. He thinks about it, does not have the clear going into turn number 3, though. Love that camera shot. Trafari trying to get some clean air to the radiator of that Ford Mustang Is Worrell starting to push on McConey on the top side. They're going to need to get a third car up there to really make that lane effective. DeBoer, though, has dropped back to pick up the 8 of Michael Anthony on the top shelf. Drag race coming out of turn number 2 and down the super stretch they come. Trafari bails out on the low lane. That's going to move Shane Posey up. That's also going to move the 91 of Henderson up. Right now, McConey shows the way on the top side, bails out, drops down in front of Lowe to throw the block on the 99. We are on board with Lowe right now, and there you see that boiler up, hammer down, Ford Mustang right in front of him. That is your race leader, Greg McConey. Chris Worrell trying to make something happen on the top side with Ed DeBoer. They've got the numbers. They've got to tighten it up just a little bit more, though. We saw some intense racing last season between DeBoer and Worrell. The question is, are they going to be working together nicely here tonight? We have yet to find out. We are on board with the 6 of Worrell. There you see Posey right to his inside. Okay. Didn't know Shane Posey was a weeb. McConey going to lead another lap as that inside lane is a little more organized than the outside right now. DeBoer has got to get to the back bumper of Worrell if they're going to have a shot at doing anything here. Currently working lap 61 of 95. So we are going to see at least one more pit stop out of everybody in the field tonight. Connor Trafari just set quick time in Sector 1. Sorry, that was Sector 2. As the fastest lap of the race currently belongs to Greg McConey with a 46.77. Only 4 drivers tonight have gone sub 47. And McConey being the one leading that charge. Checking back in with Frank Marchese. There he is, or Marchese. There he is in the Hardy's Deuce. You think of that what you will, folks. See heavy damage on that car. Probably going to use his fast repair on the money stop to make sure he's got a fresh whip coming into the final laps of this piece. As there goes James Lowe and Chris Worrell to the front of the piece. Lowe jumped up and Worrell picked him up, and they just charged to the front as Michael Anthony comes up the middle, and we've got cars around. How is that not a caution? So the 4 gets into the 24. Marchese nowhere to go. He's going to have to burn his fast repair because the front of that car is missing now. 91 trying to get it pointed in the right direction. And it looks like, unfortunately, no, it is still running. So he's going to have to come down pit road. Not at all what they wanted to see as we go back live. And you got your top 3. James Lowe, Chris Worrell, Greg McConey, Matt Swope, Shane Posey, Michael Anthony, Austin Collins, Ryan Harrison, defending series champion Marcus Adams in 9th. Dusty Burkhart sitting in 10th right now. Throw a blanket over your top 10 as there is a good-sized gap back to Nick Wing and company back there in that second group. James Lowe continues to show the way here. He's got Chris Worrell pushing the daylights out of him. Worrell, one of the best pushers in iRacing, as they work their way through 3 and 4. McConey up there as well. Excellent debut race for Matt Swope in the 82. Shane Posey, after getting clobbered in that first wreck, now sitting plus 13 in 5th. On board with Lowe. Going into turn number 1, you can see just how steep this banking is. They come out of the 32-degree banking down the super stretch here at Daytona. Worrell bumper to bumper with Lowe down the super stretch. As we are currently showing only 16 cars on the lead lap. As Henderson unfortunately has gone a lap down. Mashburn sits 3 laps down now. And Mike McRae has put it on the hauler, as has Joe Gautier and Jason Papp. So should we see another flag that we don't want to see, right now Tim Henderson would get the free pass. Lap 67 of 95 in the books. As we are fast approaching the you can make it from here part of the race. And the question is, what type of strategy are we going to see? Are these guys going to try to run these tanks right down to the bingo level? Or are we going to see some early strategies start to play out and get that head of steam and hopefully not go a lap down? Worrell jumps up in turn 3 to try to get the clean air to the radiator of that Toyota Supra. And you can see he's in the draft, but he's still getting the fresh air to that radiator. McConey trying to do the same thing. As everybody's getting single filed out, that usually means one thing and one thing only, that we are getting ready for green flag pit stops. Unfortunately, that is Ed DeBoer on the top side going a lap down now. Not the way he wanted to start this season off, I can assure you of that. We are going to step away for our final break, and we'll be back right after this. As we are back live at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway, for the conclusion of round 1 of the Circle B Diecast Superspeedway Series. Tony Trapasso up in the booth with you for Sim Racing Media. So glad to make us a part of your Friday evening. As Chris Worrell wrestles the lead away from his teammate James Lowe. Connor Trafari trying to make something happen on the top shelf, as he's got Austin Collins in the 29 trying to help him, as Lowe now jumps up to the top shelf. Does not want to be behind that Supra of Worrell. Throws the block on Trafari. Lowe going to get shot out of a cannon coming through 3 and 4. Low on the top side, Worrell on the low side. Drag race coming out of 4 into the tri-oval. Low and Trafari both with the nose out in front. Trafari up into second, Worrell back to third, leading the low line, as that's going to let James Lowe drop down in front of him. Worrell now goes to the back bumper of his balls out racing teammate. Jumps up to throw the block on Trafari himself. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. As Worrell now shows the way, we are on board with that balls out red number 6 of Chris Worrell. And again, we are in a win and you're in scenario all regular season long. If you win a race, if you win a race and you make the minimum number of starts required, which I believe is 8, you automatically make it into the playoffs. Second lane seems to be where you want to be to make the passes here tonight, as Trafari now drops down in front of Worrell. Worrell now goes up to the top shelf. He's got Austin Carey up there with him. Carey, one of the newest members to Balls Out Racing here. Into turn number 1 they go. 3 Toyotas working on the top shelf. That's Worrell, Collins, and Posey, as Worrell now drops down to throw the block on Trafari. No love lost between those two, as they have battled for the past 4 seasons, with Trafari taking last season off. But he and Worrell, no stranger to each other. And no love lost between those two either. Top 3 starting to pull a little bit of a gap on the 29 of Collins. Collins and Posey trapped on that outside lane. Throw a blanket over your top 7 as Michael Anthony is about 2 car lengths back off this lead group and quickly approaching. There you see Anthony in that black and red Balls Garana number 8 in the background. There is Trafari pushing the daylights out of Worrell. As I believe that is John LaBombard that is about to go a lap down. Yes, it is. Up and out of the way goes LaBombard. And again, we have not seen the money stop yet, as Worrell continues to show the way. We are 20 to go. Oy. Worrell, Trafari, Lowe, McConey, Swoop, Posey, Collins, Anthony, Wilson, and Wing, your top 10 as they currently sit. Worrell continues to show the way as everybody getting pretty single-filed out. That's usually the tattletale that we are going to see green flag pit stops soon. And just like that, Worrell, one of the first to peel off. Can they get him slowed down in time? Oy, that was close. Just barely down to the 65-mile-an-hour speed limit on pit road. That's going to hand the lead of the race over to that man, Greg McConey. Swope, Posey, Anthony, Wilson, Wing, and defending series champion Marcus Adams all in a line right there. Lowe, fuel only. Austin Collins, fuel only. Harrison, fuel only. Connor Trafari and Chris Worrell, fuel only. It looks like Harrison may have taken 2. As Posey peels off all by his lonesome. 18 laps to go. McConey and Swoop with Michael Anthony up there as well. Brandon Wilson, after using his fast repair, is now back in the lead group here. And I would expect to see everyone come down pit road probably in the next lap or two. We are currently 18 to go. Let's see. Yep, wholesale pit stops. Oy. Ooh. That's going to be close on Swoop. Let's see what happens with the 82 here. He was a little hot coming in. Wing blows through his pit stall. 31 is down and away. 501 down and away. Yep, Swoop popped for speeding. Oh. McConey's going to have to hustle. Adams up there with him. Both those two guys, perennial favorites going into the playoffs every season so far. They would love to get that done and out of the way here in the first race, as there go two lap cars. That's DeBoer and Marchese. As Marchese has finally burned his fast repair. The only problem is there's still a lap down to your leaders. McConey and Adams, half a second to the good over Chris Worrell, who is leading that group of three that include James Lowe and Connor Trafari. It is now a 5-car tango. Almost 3 seconds to the good already over Nick Wing, who unfortunately slid through his pit stall on that green flag pit stop. That's going to hurt him immensely. Racing continues up here at the front, though. McConey and Adams on the low side. Worrell and Lowe on the top side. Trafari seeing where he wants to slot in. Down the super stretch they come. Everybody playing nice so far. McConey continues to show the way. Defending series champion Marcus Adams. This is the highest he's been all night. Currently running in second place. And the two lap cars of DeBoer and Marchese going to have to get up and out of line. There they go to the high side. It's going to be 3 wide on the exit of 2, though. This is going to be interesting. Worrell and Lowe like shot out of a cannon up through the sucker hole. Worrell now shows the way. Lowe all over his back bumpers. They both drop down in front of McConey. Heavy lap traffic in front of them, though. Worrell, Lowe, McConey, Adams, Trafari, Wing, Wilson, Anthony, Collins, and Harrison, your top 10. 14 laps to go here at Daytona for the season opener of the Circle B Diecast Superspeedway Series. On board with your race leader currently, Chris Worrell, getting a good shove down the super stretch here from his teammate James Lowe, as McConey and Adams have both jumped up to the top shelf. McConey now drops back down. Adams caught out to dry as McConey, the lap car, comes into view as he's looking to help his dude's racing teammate in the 12. He is sticking with McConey. They flash by the lap car. That is the 82 of Matt Swope. Back on board with Lowe. We're actually going to go on board with Marchese. This is what you would see from the passenger seat of that Hardee's number 2. Again, fast repair, done and dusted. We are going to be 12 to go at the line. Macconi, Marchese, and Trafari. That doesn't sound like an Italian pasta dish. I don't know what does. I can say that. My last name's Trapasso. But you got 3 Italian-American young men trying to make something happen on the top shelf as Macconi drops down in front of Worrell, throwing the block on him. Worrell now jumps up. Marchese right behind him. Macconi and Worrell drag race into turn number 3. They each have each other's teammates right behind them. Katie, bar the door because this is going to be a fun one as we are going to be 11 to go at the stripe. Macconi and Worrell running side by side right now. There you see it, 197 miles an hour is what these guys have been hitting. Laps to go. Worrell with the nose out front. Macconi. Macconi just got his nose taken off. As Marchese still on the top shelf, leading that outside lane. He's got defending series champion Marcus Adams with him. Macconi pushing the daylights out of Worrell, splits off, gets picked up by his teammate as Marchese was trying not to just annihilate his teammate. Macconi, Worrell, Lowe, Adams, Trafari, Wilson, Wing, Anthony, Collins, and Harrison, your top 10. Also, your only lead lap cars left. Macconi with the nose out front. We are now 9 to go. Coming through 1 and 2. Worrell on the low side. Macconi on the top shelf. They each have a teammate behind them. Drag race into turn number 3. Worrell now with the nose out front in the middle of the turn. Macconi gonna have the advantage coming off the hill that is turn number 4. Coming into the tri-oval drag race. 1/1000th of a second give the lap to Worrell. And we have seen the 200 mile an hour barrier cracked, folks. Worrell and Lowe have both seen 201. As Worrell now caught in the middle. Marcus Adams gives him a shot down the super stretch. Macconi drops down to throw the block on Worrell. Worrell now really doesn't have any option other than to push Macconi if he's going to want a shot at getting this to himself. Macconi's going to have to make that car a lot wider. Half a car for Macconi that time. We are on board with Worrell coming into turn number 1. Macconi drops down to cut off Lowe. Now Worrell leads the top shelf. He's got Marcus Adams and Frank Marchese with him. Macconi, Lowe, Worrell, Adams, Trafari, Wilson, Wing, Anthony, Collins, and Harrison. Your top 10 as they currently sit. Macconi with the nose out front. And my eyes weren't deceiving me. I think I see a little bit of damage on the right front fender. Yes, there is. on McConey's ride. Not affecting him too adversely as he's still leading that low side. But Marcus Adams, your defending series champion, pushing Chris Worrell to the clear on that lap on the second lane. There you see your race leader, Greg McConey, as they start to get a little single-filed out. That second lane looks like it might be backing up to try to get a run. They are fast approaching lap cars. 3 wide is never a good idea at Daytona. We are 5 to go. McConey shows the way. Lowe currently sitting in second. Is Posey getting up and out of the way. That was a complete sketch moment as the 95 almost got collected there. John LeBombard gets safely up and out of the way. As Worrell and Adams continue their charge on the top shelf. They've got a ton of lap cars up in there with them. The 82 of Swope, the 24 of DeBoer, the 2 of Marchese. All right there. As Lowe now peeks out. Picks up his Balls-Garana teammates. Down the front stretch they come. Into the tri-oval. 4 to go. Lowe shows the way. Worrell currently sitting in second. Marcus Adams looking to get a podium here to open his defense of his title. Trafari now up there as well. That gap is gone. Throw a blanket over your top 5. Brandon Wilson 16 seconds behind. Now Marconi shows the way on the low side. Low right back on him. 4 cars on the top lane, 5 cars on the bottom. This is where the getting gets good, folks. Give that lap to Worrell. 3 to go. Doing it for Dale. McConey's Ford getting pushed by Lowe's Chevy. The 2 Toyotas. Sorry, the Toyota of Chris Worrell being pushed by the Ford of Marcus Adams. Lowe jumps up to the top shelf. DeBoer right on the back bumper. McConey, he's going to have to give him a shot as we are on board with the 12 right now. Drag race going into the tri-oval. Lowe with the half a car advantage. Lowe and Worrell now both with the clear on McConey. Coming into turn 1, McConey battles back. Lowe drops down to throw the block. Connor Trafari shuffled out there a little bit. Good grief. 2 laps to go. If we make it to the start-finish line, we are racing back to checkers, folks. Lowe shows the way on the low side. Worrell on the top side. Adams pushing Worrell. McConey pushing Lowe. And we are racing back to checkers. 95 laps about to be in the books. Just over 2 miles to go. James Lowe shows the way. Worrell trying to get a run on the top shelf. McConey able to work his way up in there. No help for McConey. 3 wide going into turn number 3. Oh, baby. McConey's around. Adams is into the wall. Oy. Worrell and Trafari involved in that one. But there is your race winner. And already punching his ticket into the playoffs. That is James Lowe. We are going to go back, though, and take a look at what did happen here. Keep your eye on Trafari up in the middle. Healthy bit of net code and a bump draft gone wrong. John LeBombard just pile drove Chris Worrell. And up and over LeBombard goes. Good grief. That was ugly with a capital UG. Keep your eye on the black car in the middle at the front. Gets a bump draft gone wrong, and that was pure net code. I could have rolled my fat crippled ass in my wheelchair between those two cars, folks. So once again, iRacing doing iRacing stuff. And as soon as I can find him, there he is. The man who's completely destroying my grass. Hey, you darn kid, get off my lawn. James Lowe, congratulations on already clinching your way into the playoffs here in the Circle B Diecast Superspeedway Series.
Hey, man, appreciate it. And it's good to be back. Awesome race, man. I mean, you hate to see him in that way, but when you're in the lead, you don't mind it so much. So
as long as you don't get tagged.
Exactly. When you come out and you're the only one there, it's like, okay. I hate to see it, but I kind of don't.
I'm not going to complain too much about this one. But, James, you got a victory last season. You got a victory this season. You've already made it into the playoffs. Let me ask you this, because I took a peek at the schedule coming up. Are you looking as forward to the Indy Cars as I am?
Well, you forget how much you miss this stuff until you take 2 months off. And it's like, I'm just glad to be back, man. I don't care what car they throw at us, what track they throw at us. I'm just here to have a little fun with the guys and, just see what happens.
Well, now comes the hard part, because you've already punched your ticket into the playoffs. How many of your Balls-Garana teammates are you going to be able to get in there with you?
You know how we roll. With any luck, all of them's going to be in here, and fairly quickly. So we'll see what happens, and we'll do our best to help them guys get to victory lane, and see what happens.
All right, James, before we let you go celebrate the victory here at Daytona, who do you need to thank?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Jason Papp first and foremost for bringing us back again, and Circle B Diecast for sponsoring the league, Rowdy Energy, Midwest Motor Customs, Butt Kicker, iRacing iFlag, and you for coming back for another season, man. You do a great job. And say hey to my Aunt Mary Alice out there. I know she's probably watching. But
hi, Aunt Mary.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
James, again, congratulations on coming home with a victory. We'll see you next week in, I believe, the Next Gen Cars.
Appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
You too. So that was your race winner. And joining us now, if I can find him again, there he is. The man that is starting his title defense off rather strongly, coming home in second place tonight, Marcus Adams. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. That's the two-time now.
I did say that, two-time defending series champion.
Trying to make it three.
Getting off to a good, strong start. Talk us through that last lap. What did you see?
It just looked like net code between the 24 and Greg.
That's kind of what it looked like on my end, too, but
not really much you can do.
How much of a pucker moment was that for you?
Not really any. You're either going to wreck or you're going to not wreck, so, I mean...
Well,
eventually, you can't go every race without wrecking or
of course.
Whatever, so...
But, Marcus, the big question I'm asking everybody tonight, what do you think of this season's schedule with Indy Cars coming up at Daytona?
I saw the tracks, but I did not see the cars.
Indy Cars here at Daytona, brother.
don't really have too much faith in that since I've driven them at Talladega and it was a mess. So hopefully I can be proved wrong. I just wish Atlanta was added to the schedule. Atlanta's fun.
You're about the 10th person I've had say that to me over the past week. And,
yeah, Atlanta is a really fun track.
Well, if you look at the schedule, we haven't decided where the All-Star race is going to be yet.
My preference, take iRacing Superspeedway out and then switch it with Atlanta. That's my preference.
Well, it's currently no track assigned to that. So could possibly see it in the All-Star race. But Marcus, we're going to let you go celebrate with your team as a 1-2 finish for Balscarana Racing. Who do you need to thank before we turn you loose?
Give a good win to James. I'm glad we're still we're continuing on with the winning this season. Circle B Diecast, Rowdy Energy, iRacing Outflag, Butt Kicker, Midwest Motor Customs, and whatever channel you all are now.
Sim Racing Media.
Sim Racing Media. There you go.
All right, Marcus. Congratulations for a successful start to your second consecutive title defense. Best of luck to you the rest of the season, sir.
Yep.
So that was our top two, and the man that, if it wasn't for bad luck, he probably wouldn't have any luck at all. The Netcode Kid himself, Mr. Greg McConey. And Greg, I don't know if you had a chance to look at the replay of that yet, but as I stated on the broadcast when I was watching it back, I probably could have put my wheelchair between those two cars.
No, I haven't gone back and watched it yet, but that's what I was hearing. It was bad netcode once Connor gave me that bump. It did get me a little squirrely, but
yeah, there was a lot of daylight between you and DeBoer.
Yeah, that's what I heard. So, I mean, I hate to see it, hate to have that happen. You know, Connor and I were going to put on a run there at the end. But, you know, P3, having to drive out of that wreck like I did, you know, I was thinking I was getting the top 5, ended up getting 3rd. So, all in all, led some laps tonight, had some fun, good way to start the season out for us.
It absolutely is. And Greg, I'm going to put you on the spot the same way I did the other two gentlemen that I spoke to. You finally were able to talk Jason Papp into throwing the Indy Cars into the mix here in the Superspeedway series.
Yeah, I threw that on the schedule, and Brandon and Jason were like, all right. So we're going to try it. We'll see what happens. We've got a couple of chances where we're going to run it. I think we're running them here at Daytona first, and then we left the possibility open in the playoffs between an ARCA or Indy Car race. I think to start round 1. So we'll see what happens. It'll be an interesting one.
And if I can make a suggestion for the All-Star break.
Yes, Atlanta, like everybody else has been begging.
Yeah, I just put it out there. Give the fans what they want.
It's not on the table.
We want a dumpster fire, and you're going to give us a dumpster fire. Gosh darn it!
That's what I have a feeling the All-Star race will be. You know, we haven't figured out what that'll be yet. You know, Atlanta was definitely on the docket. Michigan trucks, like we saw in Thunderclap, is kind of on the docket because that race is almost like a super speedway.
Pretty much.
But then that allows for some fun racing once things kind of get filed out a little bit. So we've got a few on the table, but we'll see what happens.
All right, Greg, who do you need to thank tonight before we let you go celebrate a season opener podium?
Yeah, I got to go. First off, I'll thank the wife and family that I know is watching. The father-in-law is watching. I know Grandpa Paul's watching. I know my parents are watching. Thanks to all the fans. Yeah, hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Thanks to everybody that comes out and supports this league. If you want a chance to sponsor a race, we're working on putting promo videos together. You know, reach out to myself or to Jason Papp or the league page. We'd love to have sponsors on for individual races or restart zones or checker flag, whatever. We can discuss it. But I got to thank our current sponsors: Circle B, Rowdy Energy, iRacing, iFlag, Butt Kicker, Midwest Motor Customs. Tony, I got to thank you guys at SRM. You know, you do a great job. It's exciting to have you back in the booth. I can't wait to see what the rest of the season holds. And P3, that's how we start the season, and let's go make a championship run.
Greg, I hate to point it out to you, but you forgot one very, 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 very important person.
Who? Jason? The rest of the dudes
look,
racing boys?
look down at your hand.
I said the wife.
Okay.
That was the first one I said. I said I got to thank the wife and the family that I know is watching.
I didn't hear you call Sydney out. I do apologize. But we do appreciate her watching the kiddo so you can come play NASCAR.
Yeah, we got the kiddo to bed. She was tired tonight, so she went to bed early. But thanks, honey. Thanks, everybody that watches. And let's make this season another great season, and let's go have some fun, boys.
All right, Greg McConey, congratulations. We'll see you next week.
Sounds good, Tony. I'll see you, man.
So that is going to about do it for us here tonight. We just going to take a quick look at the finishing order. As we already heard from James Lowe, Marcus Adams, Greg McConey, Connor Shafari, and Chris Worrell rounding out your top five. Nick Wing, Brandon Wilson, Michael Anthony, and Austin Collins rounding out your lead lap cars. Matt Swope in the 82, finishing one lap down, as does Ryan Harrison and Tim Henderson. Ed DeBoer, Frank McCasey, Shane Posey, Dusty Burkhart, John LeBombard, Brad Mashburn, Mike McCrate, Jason Papp, and Joe Gautier rounding out your finishing order of 21 here from Daytona. And again, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications, as we still have a lot of racing left to do this week. The Super Late Model AI Series goes to Hickory at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Sunday, we've got at least a doubleheader with the ISNF Cup Series round number 5 from Daytona. Round 6, I'm sorry, I am drawing a blank, but they go to their next round at Daytona in the Cup cars. And then the nightcaps, SNN at Daytona at 8:20 Eastern Time. Again, thank you so much for making us a part of your evening. This is Tony Trapasso reminding you, ladies and gentlemen, that as you walk down the road of life this week, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.